It was an absolute blast last week driving 4 of the 5 first generations of the Honda Prelude. And later today, I'm going to post my impressions on the 2nd gen Prelude. In the meantime, you can watch my 3rd, 4th, and 5th gen impressions. Now, there's news coming out, and this news is surrounding the new Prelude, which will be revealed soon. I will reveal it for you soon. I can't say exactly when, but it will be soon because it is going to be available later this year. I will have hands-on with it for the reveal. I just can't say exactly when. So just make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. However, these rumors out of Japan apparently are claiming that there are higher performance variants of the Prelude in the works. All right, we're going to tackle this today. If you are excited, smash the like button, grab some snacks and drinks because we're going on a journey. Car Scoops is getting a scoop from Japan called GooNet, and I cannot find this article on GooNet. All right, so without being able to find it and also read it myself, I'm a little skeptical. But Car Scoops is saying that Honda is, well, they might, right? They might build a 300 horsepower Prelude Type R with simulated gears. They're saying Prelude Type S in 2026 and Prelude Type R in 2027. And they're saying that the Type R would use a high output twin motor hybrid system using the 2-liter turbo that we already are familiar with in things like the Civic Type R. Now, we never saw any Type R or Type S of the Prelude. There is an exception, well, 2 exceptions. We had the Type SH, which kind of had an early torque vectoring system that I just drove on the 5th gen Prelude. That car was beautiful. It was fun. Now, there was a Type S once upon a time. The 5th gen got a beautiful Type S, which actually had 217 horsepower, 17 horsepower bump compared to the Type SH we had, and it had obviously some big modifications to get that extra horsepower, a higher compression ratio. The VTEC was revised. The airbox was replaced with this dynamic chambering. Throttle bodies were bored out. I mean, they did a complete overhaul, interestingly, for a specific Japanese Type S. Now, Type S will never come to Honda ever again, at least not in the current form. Why do I say that? Type S is exclusive to Acura at this point. They will not type, at least for the North American market, they will not Type S any Prelude at all. The only way that they would Type S a Prelude is if Acura revived a coupe as well, copy and pasted just with Acura styling like the Integra is based off of the Civic, and then they Type S it just like the Integra has a Type S and the Civic has a Type R. Very much the same vehicle, all right? That's the only way a Type S exists as in the Acura lineup with this coupe. The current Type R produces 325 horsepower or so, all right? They're saying they're going to take that motor and add it to the hybrid or the new hybrid, which we don't really know anything. We know how it behaves, mimicking an S Plus mode, a dual clutch with fast shifts, but we don't know anything about the power output, the motor output, things like that. All right. So we're really in the dark here in terms of output numbers. And there's always a chance it could be the large platform hybrid tuned for a little bit more power that we will see in the new Odyssey, the new Pilot, the new Passport, or not the new Passport, but, hybrid versions of the Passport going forward. All right. But Honda that might stay V6 hybrid. All right, and that we wouldn't see a V6 in a Prelude. All right, it's going to be 4-cylinder hybrid, and it's going to stay 4-cylinder hybrid, even if they make a Type R. Now, if we go over to Top Gear, who actually drove the new Prelude about a week ago, Honda hasn't completely shut down the idea of a new Prelude Type R. They asked Chief Engineer Tomoyuki Yamagami about a Type R coming to the Prelude. He says a difficult question you can't expect a direct answer. Of course, they're going to be coy about all upcoming products or future products or product speculation. They said, we've been talking for years now whether there will be a hybrid Type R in the future or a battery electric Type R in the future. What we've always said is that the Type R is not dependent on the method of propulsion. He talks about how the turbo, when it introduced in the Civic Type R, people were freaking out over it, and now no one gives a crap that it's turbocharged. All they care about is performance. At least we have a 6-speed manual. and the Type R and the Integra Type S. This Prelude, which in manual form in all generations was an absolute hoot to drive and so satisfying to drive as a manual, not nearly as much as an automatic. Now we're going automatic only with a hybrid. All right. Doesn't mean that the performance won't be there, but not having that connection is tough for me. So I'm sure hoping that the base Prelude can be the hybrid. That's great. Come out with the hybrid, but I want an SI Prelude without hybridization, with a 6-speed manual. Just plop in the Civic SI's powertrain in there. Call it a day. How hard is that? Type R, who knows what they would do. There were rumors circulating over the Civic Type R for this generation that it was going to be hybrid. It was going to have torque vectoring, hybridized electric motors to power the rear wheels, so you have true, four-wheel drive. But the Prelude in its history always debuted new technology that we never saw before, like the four-wheel steering, like VTEC. Is it possible, once again, besides the S Plus? S Plus is great. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to drive it, but is it possible that Honda could have a new hybrid system here with torque vectoring motors to push the boundary of what's possible with hybrids? Look, they did it on the NSX. They had all-wheel drive with torque vectoring electric motors up in the front, and they actually had that sort of technology on the sport hybrids in the Acura lineup. If you remember the RLX Sport Hybrid as well as the MDX Sport Hybrid, those were V6 hybrids with torque vectoring electric motors. Those were actually for the rear wheels while the engine powered the front wheels. So they could absolutely do a Type R. I'm on the side of I just want a manual in the Prelude in any shape or form. And maybe I should be a little bit more picky than that, but that's already asking for too much because we know it's a hybrid at this point. Why can't we get a special SI or Type R that has a manual transmission? That's what made the Prelude what it was. And I know that the chief engineer is saying, hey, powertrain is not what makes a Honda, or it's not what makes a Type R a Type R. Yeah, I know, but the transmission helps a lot. And without the manual in the Prelude, it's going to be not the same car whatsoever. And you can make the argument that with the styling, it's not the same car. Yes, it's a 2+2, but it's very cabin forward focused. With a shorter hood seemingly compared to the longer hood of the, if you looked at like the 5th generation Prelude, the 1st generation Prelude, it had a real long hood, right? And the cabin was kind of swept backwards a little bit. I don't know. I mean, safety regulations have changed a hell of a lot since all 5 of those 1st gen Preludes. So that might change the shape and the body significantly compared to the previous models. I'll debut the Prelude for you. I'll tell you everything about it. I'm still going to hold out for a manual. I don't care about Type R. I don't care about Type S. I don't care about the naming or the badges. I just want a manual. I mean, I could speculate all day long on what a 2-liter turbo hybrid could produce in terms of horsepower. But without a manual connected to it, I don't care that much about performance. All right. I care about wringing out that performance and feeling like I have a direct connection and wringing out that performance with the manual. And it's just more fun. It's more rewarding. You have a deeper connection with the car with the manual. With all the regulations around the world, I mean, there's a reason why the new Prelude is hybrid only. I don't know. Honda's had hybrid manuals in the past with the CRZ and the Insight. Where is it? Where is it, Honda? I don't feel like I'm asking too much, but maybe I am. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.